Hi, I'm Kaja.
And I'm Joanna.
And this is Starlit Citadel Reviews.
Claustrophobia has been a little bit of a favorite here at Starlit Citadel Reviews since our very first year. It's a tight, strategic, hugely thematic two-player game that brings a really nice balance of deep strategy and chance to the table. Now, unfortunately, like a lot of scenario-based games, it can start to lose its luster a little bit once you've played through all of the setups that the base game provides. Luckily, it has two excellent expansions to add some more options. De Profundis, which was released in 2011, and Furor Sanguinis, which has just become available in North America.
Both expansions build on Claustrophobia's base mechanics. So, two players with asymmetric groups of warriors face off over a single scenario objective. The humans start the game at full strength with various abilities and objects to help them on their way to victory, and they prepare for their turn by rolling dice and assigning one to each of their warriors. This determines the movement, combat, and defense scores of each.
Now, demons begin the game with no warriors on the board and slowly build up an enormous horde of troglodytes or collect enough power to summon a single powerful demon. They plan their turn using the Board of Destiny, which lets them assign dice to buy more warriors or buy cards or to provide boosts to existing warriors. Each game lasts from about 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
De Profundis adds 6 new tile types as well as new advantage, event, gift, and object cards, and 12 new scenarios. Each side each gets 2 new figures and warriors. The humans get the Sicaria, and the demons get the Hellhounds.
The Sicaria are powerful female warriors who are considered condemned warriors for the purposes of effects, but have powerful skills that rival even the Redeemer's gifts. Skills may grant a Sicaria bonuses to their stats, let them deal extra damage, take hits in place of other warriors, and even heal. Their powerful stats combine the movement of a condemned blade with the defensive power of a brute.
The Hellhounds are demons that can be summoned in any scenario for 3 threat points, and 2 of them can be in play at once. The demon player can assign a Hellhound one of their dice of destiny during the threat phase to determine their stats. Otherwise, they cannot move or fight and have a defense of 4. Unlike humans, Hellhounds do not lose a line of action when wounded.
So along with adding these really exciting new warriors, De Profundis does a really good job of breathing new life into the base game of Claustrophobia. Even just adding the tiles and the cards that it does means that there's a lot more of kind of subtle variety that can happen even in the existing scenarios. But I also really appreciate the fact that fully half of the new scenarios that are added only make use of the original characters from the base game. So if you loved Claustrophobia completely and felt that it couldn't be improved on, you just wish there was more there, De Profundis offers exactly that, in addition to everything else. And that everything else is pretty great. I love the Hellhounds. They're super scary to fight against. The fact that there can be 2 of them, the fact that they are so cheap for the demon player to summon, and the fact that they've got some pretty powerful skills on their own means that they can make any scenario instantly more challenging. And it's a really great way to mess with a human player who's gotten a little bit comfortable with the game as it stands. They also do make things a little bit more challenging for the demon player in the sense that they have to alter their planning during the threat phase. Because the Hellhounds are really only useful if you allocate them a die, there's an additional element of resource management, and you are really going to have to choose carefully between using these powerful demons you have and giving a bit more power to your troglodytes or preparing a little bit better for future phases, which adds a level of gameplay challenge for the demon that I think is really welcome.
So this is definitely the expansion for people who love the base game, love the mechanics, love the way it works, and just want more. Because the scenarios added by this expansion are double the amount that were in the base game. There were 6 in the base game, 12 in this expansion. So if you have both the base game and this expansion, you're going to have triple the amount of original options that you had. And that's fantastic. The breadth of stuff that is offered here is amazing. For anybody who really enjoys the base game, this is exactly the expansion they should get, because it doesn't really change things all that much. Also, the Sicaria units are fantastic. They're really strong. They take the best of a lot of different worlds in terms of warriors, and they add those skills, which are kind of like the gifts are to the Redeemer. So a lot of neat stuff packed into this warrior. Plus, they've got some nice little hints at an interesting backstory, and they're powerful female warriors, which makes them something a little bit different that you don't often see in a game like this.
Furor Sanguinis introduces an entirely new faction, the Squamata, that can be pitted against either the humans or the demons. So this faction has a single warrior named Kartikeya who plans their turn during the instinct phase, where they roll 4 dice and assign them to the Squamata board. This board is divided into 4 regions, each of which corresponds to a body part, and each body part has a set limit of wounds that it can take.
The head and torso grant Kartikeya certain traits, let it heal, or use an extra die. The arms determine its defense and combat stats, and the legs grant additional movement. When Kartikeya takes a wound, the Squamata player chooses where to assign it. If a body part takes wounds up to its capacity, it is destroyed and cannot be healed or assigned dice. Kartikeya dies if all of its body parts are destroyed.
Unlike other warriors, Kartikeya can split its attacks between multiple opponents and can attack before, during, and after movement. Certain scenarios will also give the Squamata player Squamata tiles, which grant permanent or one-time bonuses.
The humans cannot use certain advantage cards in a game against Kartikeya, and the demons cannot draw event cards. Instead, they collect 1 point of Deadly Destiny when using the event card space of the Board of Destiny, and can then spend these points to trigger the events on each scenario's Deadly Destiny table. Each event can only be triggered once, and there is a limit of 1 event per turn.
The expansion adds 3 tiles and a total of 6 new scenarios. Most of these are going to pit Kartikeya against the demon player, and there's even one where Kartikeya and humans cooperate against the demons, and this can easily be modified into a 3-player game.
So if you usually play as humans when you play Claustrophobia, Kartikeya is going to add some much needed variety for you. Since most of the scenarios are Kartikeya versus the demons, then the humans are going to get swapped out most of the time. And this is great. It's a really different kind of faction to be playing, and it's going to add some really nice variety for you. This expansion doesn't change the demon side all that much, although of course there will be a slightly different kind of strategy involved in pitting your demon army against one big marauding dinosaur creature rather than a band of humans. Also, the Deadly Destiny tables are a really nice addition to the new scenarios. They add a real element of uniqueness. It means that scenarios are going to feel a little bit different every time. You can do different things. It just adds a little bit extra to play with and increases the replayability.
So as somebody who normally plays humans while playing Claustrophobia, I really can't emphasize just how different Kartikeya is. Not only are you planning your actions in a different way, where you're using something much more similar to the Demon's Threat board, but it's a huge tactical shift to go from kind of playing the general and moving around a bunch of units on the board and sending out, scouts this way and having a rear guard and keeping your Redeemer in the middle because that's where he's safest. All of a sudden, you've just got one single warrior, and that's a little bit scary. I mean, Kartikeya is immensely powerful, and you can definitely make it through these scenarios. It's not like it's imbalanced, but it really does change how you have to think about the game, and I think that it really distills one of the most interesting things about Claustrophobia, which is its pacing. If you are one single warrior and you have that much power, you absolutely have to seize the initiative in this game. There's a real sense that you have to get the most momentum you possibly can. You can never stop to catch your breath. You can never sit back and relax and let the demon player build up their forces, which is always something that's been there in the game, but becomes so much more important with Kartikeya. So it does feel like a more challenging, more focused distillation of the essence of Claustrophobia, while giving you a lot of exciting variety in the gameplay. There is also that 3-player option in that one scenario, which I think is kind of a neat thing to throw in. A lot of people have thought that maybe Claustrophobia would be nice with more players. It's not an integral part of the gameplay. It doesn't change things all that much, but it's nice to have that option for people who've been seeking it. Overall, I would say that De Profundis is a must-buy expansion in the sense that it gives you everything you could possibly need to expand the game. It gives you so much more stuff that it really just does extend the shelf life of Claustrophobia a lot. While Furor Sanguinis is for experienced players who really want some challenge, really want some excitement, really want something very different, but it's more of like some dinosaur-shaped icing on the cake rather than some seriously substantial meat that's added. Oh, meat cake. Terrible mixed metaphor.
Meat cake.